Okay, so we are back. So looking at it, I sort of like what I've done here. It looks like we need to sort of create a bit of mountain here, maybe in there. Just want to get the photo. Okay, and also I think this is like too snake-like. And so if we get some of this dark and sort of bring it in, it'll sort of make them look like they're going back a bit more. Yeah, it's a little bit different. Oh, interesting. I thought this looked a bit weird. And it's because we've got to actually bring this higher. Oh, there you go. All right, well, that makes sense. It looks a bit small compared to all this. I didn't quite pick that up. Okay, so then now we're going to sort of, really, it sort of just touches. How interesting. So we need to get that bit more of a mountain. I think that will also sort of give us some help. And then we're going to create a little mountain in here. And then the rest of it is sort of just trying to get the sort of rest of the parts in play. So in here is going to be a bit of a reflection, this whole section. And then I'm going to try to, some of this mountain is going to be in here as well. So I think that's probably what we want to do. Yeah, so let's start with the easy one, the dark. Do we have the color? There is a bit of darkness there. So just seeing like where the mountain dips. Probably is the wrong color. I don't think I have the dark color, so let's just make a little bit more. Got quite a lot of color here, should be enough to take us. Where we want to go. A lot of blue, a little bit of this blue, touch of red, touch of green. And I know it's going to be a little bit wet, so I can sort of just like gives it a bit of, I think, maybe a bit more blue in there. And it's sort of a nice This is where we can start fixing up. I think like, want a nice straight line. Use some of this. It's all these little adjustments. I feel like I've come a bit too low, but that's all right, we'll adjust it. It's not the sharpest of lines. A bit of brush. Oh, that one's the better one. Okay, this should be a little bit easier. Okay, it's important to keep stepping back because you just want your line tracking the right way. Trying not to like paint too much into the water. It's going to look a bit liney, but we'll fix that. I sort of really like the sharpness that it brings. Okay, so looks a lot better. Darkness, I've sort of gone a bit too. Yeah, it's just feeding it in. Like, doesn't look so. So liney. I think that's more than enough. Let me just keep. As hard as we've painted more. And we've got this bump in the canvas, which is really starting to annoy me. I'm unsure that's really correct. Okay, so we've got a bit of a line there developing, sort of really highlights the separation. Now, some of this green that we had going yesterday, I think we just need a little bit more of it, to be honest. So, there's a bit of this. Really at 14, 15, top of 10, 14, 15. I need more of this dark color as well, to be honest. Always mix. I feel like that's a better, more accurate. Get some dark in here. It's not as sharp, so that needs to come out more. So if we look at the image, this actually comes out like further. A bit more gentle. Looks a bit too standard. Okay, we can sort of work that. Like we So I sort of like this sort of thing. I don't know if I'm on that. So where's this ridge coming? Okay, then we can go to our lighter color. I think it like that. Sort of giving us the illusion of a mountainous sort of thing. Just starting to wonder. It's just in 10. I feel like this is too low. It doesn't not work. But like the mountain really comes sort of even more. And it changes the shape again. Sort of trees. So now it's looking a bit weird now. I think we might have to start putting in another peak. I'm thinking like another mountain here that can maybe start. You know, we have two sort of mountainous things. Don't know if we're meant to have that. Sort of try to get something at the base of the mountain. That's a bit of an indication of anything. If we can ever be a touch of warmth here. This is where our sun's sort of on it, but not quite. You're just going to get some hints of that. the illusion of a couple peaks, maybe. We really need that. Yeah, I don't know if it needs to be much more, to be honest. Let's give it some variation. And then I wonder if we can, because this sort of lightish, I don't know what to call it, but anyway, this is like our, it's a bit like our grass colour. Like, is that giving us enough sort of indication of where, maybe not such a hard line, but definitely get a bit of what's going on down here. Like, I think that's a bit of variation, sort of feels consistent. So I think we'll sort of just leave that how it is. Now we want to build a little bit of a, just like a little, maybe down here. It's just like maybe a, like maybe that blue's good in there. Acts as a sort of, some of the like water, trapped water in it. I feel like we could maybe even create a bit of a ridge. Unclear how to do this area. Too dark near this foreground, mountain. I think we can maybe have a bit of darkness in here. So we might need the beautiful Let's get that nice cut in. It's looking all right there. And just even with that, I feel it's doing stuff. Maybe get like, can we really bring in this blue and it's just like sort of bleeding into this. How is that? Sort of working. It's a bit like hectic. I think this dark blue is not really. Sort of just taking your time. Okay, so I'm looking at it and I feel like this green needs to like come into this darkness, this sort of where this light is. It's sort of a little bit disorientating. I sort of like this as maybe a little bit of water. See? So it is a bit marshy, a bit swampy. sort of that darkness is sort of being enveloped. I'm unsure if the yellow is doing many favours in this sort of area. So just sort of trying to create, like, is there a potential for a water? I think it should be a little bit lighter, some of all this area, but I wonder if I just sort of thought it looked cool, but I think it just looks a bit too weird. This is where you really just stop looking at the image and just sort of go for the vibe. A bit weird. No. So I don't mind sort of this darkish lines just being now, it doesn't have to be much. I think you can sort of, it does look a bit strange. Like, I sort of like it, but it's also a bit, maybe if it's just a bit more blended. Again, there's a lot of white in here, which I don't like. Like, I'm unsure if this yellow should really be in there. So we're getting somewhere. So I'm wanting to do like maybe a path through this mountain. I want to be able to I wonder if I sort of all right, so I sort of like it in there. I think if we can get it working in here. I feel like this line maybe can just get pushed back. And then if I make another dark, a really dark, let's just very lightly, but you know, I sort of want to create this tree line that's they look like trees, not really. You know, just layers and textures. I don't really know where this is going, but like it can't go in a bad direction. It's a lot lighter in the photo, which I'm a little bit concerned about. Okay, then I feel like we can really come in with a good, beautiful green. And we sort of have that. Like I feel like we've sort of got that land feeling. I reckon we could just put a bit more in here. Just about push it further back. And that line is sort of, like I don't really mind that line. I feel like we can really work with this now. So I'd be curious. Right, we've got the mountain sort of up there, looking good. All right, so I think that's a good little session. I'm debating whether to sort of get rid of this. I'm just going to do it before I even tell you why, but I just feel like it's a bit of a... No, it's interesting with the... This is that like water trickling. Don't know. Could be too much. There's like a wee trickling through. Let's build the trickle. More of a marshy sort of outpost here. Yeah, okay. And then like slightly similar coming from in here. I'm sort of imagining it in here a little bit as well. Okay, perfect. I've just found some of that colour from the water. It's quite interesting. That's what I sort of imagine this is, like a little swampy sort of lands, and that's really doing something. I think we'll leave it like that because that's really sort of starting to feed into maybe what we want to do, and then we can maybe, I'm just not quite sure how to do this properly. Can really start. Some little trees. Oof, they're big ones. Yeah, maybe I was using the wrong colour. I feel like we're getting some tree-like shapes sort of forming. Oof. And it's subtle, it doesn't have to be like we're so high up here. Like you can't see trees. No, I think that's sort of enough. I think maybe I'm feeling this line's a bit too dark. So I'll just help it out a bit to soften it. Yeah, we can maybe, I sense that maybe this is going to be a bit too dark, so can I like mute it down now? What's that really doing? Boy. Just mutes it enough. I think maybe this is probably not working. Yeah, but I don't mind that for now. I think that's a good session, and then we can sort of emulate this over here and really try to maybe just get a little bit cleaner with these mountains. But I think that sort of separation through here is quite pleasing to the eye. Like, I think that's sort of it for the mountains. Maybe I'm sort of feeling like maybe this could be a bit of a ridge of a mountain sort of coming in around here. So maybe we'll look into that. I feel like definitely we could maybe push something in there, and then we can sort of fix that up, the rest of it.